Hello everyone and welcome to the Total Space livestream of Blue Origin's NS-20. We're about 25 minutes away from launch. I apologise that it's a voice only stream. I'm a little bit camera shy, I think. I am taking questions from the chat today here on YouTube, and if you're watching this later as a pre-recorded video, remember to leave a comment. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. No more plug. Let's get chatting away, guys. Are we hyped for today's launch?
Astronauts today: George Niels, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and the architect of New Shepard, Blue Origin's very own Gary Lai, are loaded into the RSS First Step, awaiting a life-changing experience to space and back.
And we just had a great shot of Gary and his smile, and of course, the RSS First Step over the hatch. It means reusable spaceship. This capsule has already gone to space 5 times, and it did so in the span of 12 months. Operational reusability, like today's 6th flight, is an underlying philosophy at Blue.
I'm glad to see they fixed their audio bug.
And dramatically reducing the cost of access to space. I'm just blown away when I think about New Shepard's vehicles being designed for 100 uses. We work towards that goal step by step.
We're at just about T-minus 23 minutes until launch. While we have a moment, let's take a closer look at today's 4th human flight crew, dubbed the Roaring 20s.
I love that name.
If the Blue Origin audio cuts, it's just because they're using copywritten music and we get a strike every time we play it. So there's going to be points I just cut the audio off on their side. I do apologise. Hi Kai, welcome to the chat. Back to about launches tomorrow. I believe we're doing SpaceX. I'm not too sure about Rocket Lab Hyper. We've just got our usual stream host, Civilian Space. He's currently recovering from dental surgery, but we hope that he's going to be okay for tomorrow's SpaceX launch. We might also run another stream like this where there's a host on voice for Rocket Lab tonight. They seem to be up talking the BE3 a lot more this stream.
The bonds they form here in West Texas will last a lifetime. In a few moments, we'll have a special message for our crew from our Capcom, Kevin Sprague, who you saw just a minute ago. But first, we want to share a piece featuring Kevin in a new segment.
Club for the Future works with students from across the country to provide the chance to ask Blue Origin experts questions about
So
rockets,
would you ride the new
engines,
Shepard to
and
space, guys? What do we
my
think?
new
Shall I
favorite
put a poll
segment,
out
our
and
very
we'll see?
first Q for Blue.
I'd have to agree, Justine. I don't want to be that guy, but it doesn't surprise me that it's a bunch of rich white guys that are all riding New Shepard to space today.
From Club for the Future. Kevin, thank you for walking us through that. Safe to say, Jackie, that we'll be able to live that right now. We'll see it live and we'll be able to apply everything we've learned as it's happening real time.
That's right, Eddie, and we're just about 18 and a half minutes away from that moment. Let's take a quick breather. We'll be right back.
So it looks like a 50-50 split, guys. Some would, some wouldn't. I'm not too sure. I mean, I think space is space. I think if it was the only viable option, it seems like a rich man's option to space. I use the delay to be able to catch the audio, Justini. I know that sucks for you guys as the end viewer, but it means we're less likely to get a content strike if I can catch the audio in time. So are we hyped for a launch, guys? Because I know a lot of people often just get hyped for SpaceX launches. I think a rocket launch is good.
If you're just joining us, we're at about T-minus 16 minutes until our fourth human flight. As you can see from these beautiful shots, our crew are strapped in, the hatch is closed, and the tower crew is just doing some final checkouts prior to today's mission, alongside crew member 7, Sarah Knight, standing there in the black flight suits.
And can you imagine their view? These largest windows, some of the largest windows to have flown in space, they're sitting 80 feet in the air, looking out on the far west Texas desert, and there's this world-class launch pad right next to them.
Crew member 7, Sarah Knights, waving to the crew as she departs the tower.
I think I saw a thumbs up.
And I'm sort of like that as well. I think anything leaving the rock is a good thing.
Coming up here shortly, we're going to have a very special message for today's crew from some of the astronauts who have
I'm just going to
flown
have
on
to
New
knock the
Shepard
audio off for
before.
this message.
Coming up
just
here shortly will be the voice.
Copyright music. I say that and then their audio goes completely quiet. I think whoever's producing their show needs to be taken around the back of the barn and seen to properly.
The NS-19 crew, who called themselves the Original Six, and they wanted to wish you well, the Roaring 20s, on your flight to space. Astronaut Michael Strahan, known as Astronaut Stray, wanted you to know the trip will go by in a flash in the moment, but your memory will make it seem like it was ours. Let your senses take over. Enjoy the ride. Take it all in, and don't forget to look out the window. Astronaut Weezer, Laura Shepard Churchley, wanted you to know you are confident to go because you have had the best training for this magnificent experience. The force you feel on launch is like being in the fastest car you've ever been in, and the pressure on your chest is great, but endurable. Weightlessness is heavenly. The 6Gs you feel on the way back home are thrilling because you won't ever feel that amount of pressure on your body again in your life. Try lifting your arms off the armrest when you're under 6G. This is the best ride you will ever have, but it's way too short.
I like how even passenger of Blue Origin's flights agrees it's too short.
Standby 1. First step, blue control. We're getting ready to go escape enabled. Look for that blue light.
I mean, there's usually some dramatic hold, isn't there, Justini? And I think I'd agree hyper. Wally Funk was... I mean, it irritates me that Blue Origin's decision to send Wally Funk to space was the way it was, but by the same merit, at least she got to go to space, I guess.
Taylor wanted you to know you are about to see the universe as it truly is. Thoroughly enjoy the experience, and then take this gift of perspective to help make a better world for all of humanity.
What do we think, chat? Is it a go for launch? I'm hopeful that eventually she'll become part of the Polaris program, Hyper.
It's so cool to see the community of Blue Origin astronauts getting a little larger, launch by launch, step by step. We had a few messages there from the previous crew, the original 6, and just what perspective. I think I heard that New Shepard is the best ride ever, too. So I'm going to quote that. We have entered a hold at the moment.
You called it Justine.
And we're going to hang out here while we get back to you.
That's because you guys didn't give it a go for launch in the chat. That's why we're on hold. We need to give it a go for launch, guys. I mean, if you're Team Blue, you've got to say that kind of thing, Justine. He probably knows that the Dragon's a better ride.
Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight. Our crew is buckled into the capsule. We're in a brief hold here, but New Shepard did just hit a big milestone in today's operations and went escape enabled. Eddie, tell us about the significance of this moment.
That's right, Jackie. Escape enabled is a pivotal moment in our flight preparation. Earlier, we talked about the full envelope escape system that we've thoroughly tested here in West Texas, all the way from the launch pad to max Q to near apogee escapes. So this system enables our mission assurance today. And so they've got a lot of roomy space in the capsule, 15 cubic meters to float around, but they will be protected the entire time by this escape system.
Of course, safety is at the center of everything we do here at Blue Origin. We'll be right back.
I mean, I think it's as expensive as a Dragon, it's safe to say, given the clientele, Kai. So I would agree. There's probably other ways to get to space that might even save you money if you were to look towards Virgin Orbit as a good example, who go to a similar altitude as the Blue Origin's New Shepard. Thanks for stopping by, Sabalsk. I mean, it doesn't seem like that much, but I guess if you compare that to the volume of a Soyuz, as an example, you'd probably feel a lot more comfortable. Maybe that's why they're always putting it on hold, so they can sign their professional studies that it's been on the moon several times. This is true, Hyper, and being from the UK, I'm excited to see Virgin launching satellites from the UK later this year too. Hopefully we should be live on the ground there for that one. I mean, some of us will be convoying up and down the country to get there, so you might find a
Thank you for joining us today for 4th human flight. We remain in a brief hold here, but you are getting some beautiful views of Van Horn, Texas in the background from our amazing camera crew. We actually have an expert here at the desk today. Eddie lived in Van Horn and worked at Launch Site 1 for a large part of his career at Blue Origin. many years. Eddie, tell us about your time at Launch Site 1, living in Van Horn in this amazing and special community.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jackie. I've been so lucky
And I
to have
think
started
our
my career
friends
here at
Astro
Blue
Lizard's
Origin at
Lab
our West
are
Texas
also
Launch Site
contemplating
1,
going.
working on the West Texas
And so
test
it should
stands.
be like a good
You know, Van
UK
Horn
team
is
space
really
meetup.
in the middle of nowhere,
So I'm
West
pretty sure
Texas,
that
but it's a
somebody
slice
have a
of home
spare
for
seat
me
for you.
and for us at Blue Origin. We moved to Van Horn in 2006. Our founder, Jeff Bezos, gave the scoop to the Van Horn Advocate all those years ago that we were going to be here, that they would hear the roar of our engines and see the beautiful flying vehicles go to the edge of space and back. Now that operation has changed since 2006. We've grown a lot. We're over 300 employees, and we've launched 19 times, going on 20, and we continue to test the BE3 engine, the BE3 propulsion module, the BE3U engine for New Glenn, and of course the BE4 engine for Vulcan for New Glenn. And it's an incredible operation. Our team here has a dream job. They design, they build, they test, they push those systems to the limit, and then they learn. And it's part of the reason that we're able to today with certainty say that we believe and are proud of our mission assurance that this BE3 engine and this New Shepard system will keep our astronauts safe on this
I'm
incredible
hyped. I always
ride to
like
space.
seeing the Rocket Lab
Van
launchers.
Horn is truly such a
and
special
SpaceX
place.
Transporter
Every time
4
we're here, we
especially,
love seeing the
because of the
signs of
custom
support for
payloads.
Blue
I think
Origin.
people,
The
I was saying
community
earlier
here
that people
is
get
truly
fed up of seeing the
unmatched.
same
Absolutely,
old
and I'm so
Starlink
proud of the
launches, and I
employees
know
that
that's
have
really
helped and have gotten
weird to
involved
be
in
in
the
that
community
position where we can
and have
say,
really
man,
helped
it's just a
Van
generic
Horn
old
grow up with
launch to
us,
space
and
and
that's super
return to
important because this is our
drone
home.
ship. But I think the Transporter 4
So
offers
special.
something
Thank
a
you
bit
for those
different.
special
I like
memories
that.
and insights, Eddie. We remain in a brief hold here, so let's check out more of those beautiful West Texas views, and we'll be right back.
Q3, Q4 of 2022, Justini. Virgin are planning to launch from Spaceport Cornwall. We should be doing a UK Team Space meetup to coincide with that, because we've said first UK launch would be doing the meetup. And as it stands right now, it's either going to be Unst, which is the Shetland Islands, a really weird place to get to, but we've definitely looked at the logistics on how to get a stream from there. And Spaceport Cornwall is the other potential location for the first launch from the UK with Virgin Orbit.
As you can see, we currently remain in a hold while Mission Control makes sure all systems and weather are aligned for today's flight. But while we have a moment, let's talk about how our learnings from the BE3 engine flying today on New Shepard are carried forward into the BE3U program.
I've just once again had to turn their audio off because they're playing copywritten music. I apologise, but this is just the way that Blue Origin seems to do things. I have made sure to put subtitles on screen. They are the auto-generated YouTube subtitles though, so I don't know how accurate they'll be. I like how they're hyping up the BE3 and how great it is and how next generational it is. It seems like the BE4 problems they're having are just grim. I mean, my time is limited. I have a school run to do at some point, so we'll just leave the stream running. If for whatever reason the time is so far that I go on the school run, I'll still leave the stream running for you guys.
You know, Jackie, when I first moved to West Texas, I started on the BE3 engine test stand. We call it the Geeks test stand, the Giant Engine Experiment test stand. And it's a prolific test stand that tests both the BE3 PM version and the BE3U upper stage version. For a little over 10 years now, that test stand has been testing full-scale BE3 engines.
Based on the hype that they're
ratcheted
giving
up
the
1,000 different hot fires and over 100,000 seconds of test.
Variant,
so when I say it's prolific, it's because they test day in and day out.
Our propulsion test operations here at Blue Origin are just truly incredible. I'm always inspired by what the team can accomplish out here in West Texas, down in Huntsville, Alabama. Truly impressive and inspiring stuff. Very excited soon here too to see our test stand 4670 at Marshall Space Flight Center. That historic test stand tested the Saturn V that flew America to the moon. So privileged to be leasing that from NASA Marshall to test the BE4 and the BE3U engines.
And what a story for 4670. In the 60s, like you said, it was used to test the Saturn V rocket. And then in the 80s, they did a little bit of space shuttle main engine testing. In the 90s, that test stand actually tested the Russian rocket, the RD-180. And then it went into a little bit of a pause, did some SLS testing. But what a legacy that we've inherited from the RD-180 to the BE4. That is the new paradigm shift in rocket propulsion.
That's right, Eddie. I have to say, I get to visit our facilities a lot, very lucky, and I love visiting 4670. You can feel the history there, truly a special experience. We are still in a hold at this time, but we'll be right back.
Do you think it's those clouds that are causing problems, or do you think it might be a rocket problem? Do you think we're going to get a scrub today, guys? What do you think? Shall I put a poll out? So we seem confident he's going, guys. The biggest windows to ever fly to space, apparently. That's one of the things they've got over the SpaceX Dragon capsule, at least. Although the cupola, I guess maybe the cupola outweighs that, doesn't it? Is the cupola considered a window? See this socially awkward silence vibe that I give off. This is why I'm generally not the host of live streams. I do apologise, folks. I was hoping we'd get some more audio from Blue Origin, but it seems they've run out of scripts and B-roll and stuff.
We remain in a hold in our countdown today to make sure everything is ready to fly. While we have a moment, let's talk some more about safety. Of course, our #1 priority at Blue Origin.
All in
It
all, Jackie,
seems like they
safety
might
drives
feel there's a
everything we do
scrub
at Blue
there,
Origin. There's
hyping up the
nobody on
safety
Team Blue who
precautions
does a
they're
better
taking.
job of elegantly communicating this than Blue Origin's Director of System Safety Engineering, Andrew Lake.
Andrew, you have such an important role at Blue Origin. So at Blue, when we say safety is a top priority, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's interesting, this idea of safety as a priority. And there are a lot of ways to think about this, but I see safety more as a core value that you build a business around. And a business like what we were thinking about for New Shepard and what Blue is doing in general is animated around this idea of safe and reliable systems.
So New Shepard went through this extensive test program, right? And we flew for what, 5-6 years before we put people on board. How do you know that you're done
In a certain sense,
instilling safety into both the vehicle and the how it operates?
yeah, there are a couple of ways you kind of go about it. The first thing you have to do is you have
Do you
to set
think there might be an
goals,
issue with the
safety
rocket
performance
hens? They're
goals,
talking about
performance
safety
thresholds
before they call
to
it a
help you
scrub.
understand when you've met those thresholds. But in any program, you're never really done. You always want to look for opportunities to improve the system, both operationally, both for safety, both for reliability as well. And so we always have to maintain a humility that comes with flying rockets with these kinds of energies involved. And so we, and the ops team that we're about to go fly this mission, I've never seen a team more diligent, more patient, and the constant awareness and the vigilance required to say, raise issues and make sure they're addressed before we decide that it's time to fly people.
It's taken a team of people to get to this point, to be flying people on New Shepard. What would you say to this team?
I'm humbled to work with this team. It would be lying to say that 3 people who happen to have voted as part of a much larger tech for human flight certification are the people who decided that we're safe enough. Hundreds of people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. Each of them just immensely individually focused on not just the safety of the system, but the reliability of the system. And then there is the work that our team does to kind of partner with them to help them achieve these goals. I am immensely grateful for the opportunity to work with them, and I'm humbled to have an opportunity to kind of lead the safety mission assurance efforts with this team.
Well, tell me this. Would you fly a New Shepard?
I would, and let me just say
See,
this.
we're calling it a
there are
scrub
lot
now
of
hype, but a
people
few
at
minutes
Blue that
ago,
would be
chat
excited to
voted
fly
that
New
it
Shepard,
wasn't a
and I'm happy
scrub.
to count myself as one of them. It's a fantastic
It looks like we
system.
might
It's
be
a very
scrubbing,
robust
ladies and
system.
gentlemen.
And yeah, if I ever had the opportunity to fly, I'll wink a little bit at the folks making these decisions. I would be super excited.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we get to go one day.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Thank you, Andrew Lake, for that
I'll get
incredible
the
discussion
pie
of
face
New
board
Shepard
game
safety
thing for
systems
children.
with backups and
We can
backup
just
to the
crank it up
backups,
and
and
load
even
it
in
with
some
squirty
cases,
cream.
backup to the backup to the backup. We are still in a hold, as you can see from the screen, so we're going to enjoy some shots of the New Shepard rocket in the West Texas desert.
So it seems they're out of B-roll again. They've got nothing left to say, and their producer's just left showing us shots of a rocket that's on hold. I think that's pretty funny.
While we have a moment here, let's talk about New Glenn, our orbital program. Recently, we performed an incredible separation test on the world's largest fairing for our New Glenn rocket.
I've just had to mute their stream once again, guys, because of copyright music. This is a trick that Blue Origin like to do to cancel out smaller streamers like myself. I'm really liking those shots from inside the production factory. It's a shame that they've put copywritten audio on here for you guys because they're talking some really cool knowledge. I'd suggest having it open on a separate stream, just so you can hear what they're saying.
So amazing, Eddie, to see New Glenn hardware in test. These moments are so incredible along this road to space, and it's very special. I'm going to say something nerdy and lame, Eddie. It's very special to be testing New Glenn at NASA Glenn.
That's right.
We love that. We do remain in a hold here to make sure all systems are go for today's launch, but we'll be right back.
I mean, the US to UK shipping, a lot of the times are expensive hyper. What I'd suggest is looking at a friend to proxy it. Like, I know that a few friends of mine and things like that have ordered SpaceX merch to a friend in America and then had it shipped, and it works out cheaper if you've got a friend or somebody that's willing to handle postage in America. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a scrub today, guys. As Marco's pointing out, it looks like they're removing crew. Yep. So they're preparing for egress of the crew. As Marco in the Discord is pointing out to me, the crew access arm's now been egress back towards the capsule, so it looks like they are going to be deboarding the crew today, folks. I mean, I think it saves costs, Kai, as long as it is just a cosmetic thing and it's not necessarily anything that's derogatory to the launch systems. It's not necessarily that important to paint the booster again. I know SpaceX on reused boosters have gone for the soy look, so maybe they're just trying to replicate SpaceX more.
We remain in a hold here while Mission Control ensures that all systems are a go for launch. While we wait, let's talk about an exciting new project at Blue Origin, Orbital Reef. Blue Origin, in partnership with Sierra Space, is developing Orbital Reef, a commercially owned and operated space station to be built in low Earth orbit. The Orbital Reef team includes Boeing, Redwire, Genesis Engineering, Amazon, Amazon Web Services, and Arizona State University, which brings proven capabilities and new visions to provide key elements and services, including unique experience
just like
from building
SpaceX, they're
and
planning on
operating
building a
the
fleet of both
International Space
boosters
Station.
and
Let's take a look.
capsules out.
There have been dreams for a very long time of robust commercial activity.
I agree, Justini. It is good that they're talking about orbital reef. There's been a lot of avoidance of the orbital reef. It seems that Blue Origin aren't promoting it as much as their other partners like Sierra Space are. I spent all that time complaining they had no B-roll, only to find that they've pulled out their archive of B-roll and it's all got copyrighted music on it once again, folks.
Our team is absolutely honored and thrilled to have received an award from NASA to continue advancing our orbital reef partners alongside our teammates. We actually at Blue Origin do have a lot of great experience with conducting this kind of microgravity research. Eddie, New Shepard has really been the test bed for this at Blue Origin. Can you tell us about that?
I'd love to, Jackie. We've got an incredibly capable payload integration management team that has flown over 11 successful payload flights on New Shepard, getting these researchers 180 seconds of microgravity and just advancing science as we know it. So kudos to them, and I'm just so proud of them, Jackie.
I am as well, Eddie. With that, let's take a quick breather and we'll be right back.
I think you're right, Al. It's more of a contract. But NASA like to call them awards. So it is technically an award, but you're right, it is a contract.
Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight, and thank you for sticking with us throughout this hold. I spoke with our flight director, Nick Patrick, earlier this week, and as you know, holds are, of course, a completely normal part of our launch process. Safety, as we've said multiple times on today's webcast, is always the #1 priority at Blue Origin, so we need to continue to take this time to do those checks and make sure this mission is ready for launch today. Stay tuned.
Come on, Justine, it has to be 42, doesn't it? So guys in chat, let me know. I can either leave this hostless or just call it quits. I've got around about 15 minutes till I need to leave. So let me know in chat, guys, if you just want to watch the stream here or if you'd rather me cut it and you can watch the official Blue Origin stream if they're even continuing. I mean, the pros and cons of this, guys, I can't put chat on stream and I can't moderate their audio either. So I think I'm probably just going to call it quits at 3 o'clock my time, and then I'll send a link to the official Blue Origin feed over for you guys to continue watching it there. I mean, it's more, can you imagine paying that kind of money to sit and stare out at the Texas desert for 46 minutes, in my opinion? I mean, it's still cool, but like, imagine paying the astronomical prices that Blue Origin are asking for, only to sit and stare out at the Texas desert for close to an hour before you even go to space. Especially given the average age of the crew is 68, did Justine say?
Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight. As you may have seen on your screen, we did release the hold on the countdown
I think
clock.
when you define
We're at T-minus 9 minutes
rich
and
people
30
wasting
seconds
money,
until
this is
our
definitely
4th
not one of
human
the worst
flight.
things you can
Let's
spend
toss it
money
to the
on.
rocket and stand by for mission control.
Looks like the hold's gone, guys. We've got 9 minutes 20 seconds to go to see Blue Origin's New Shepard 20 finally send its crew of 4 to space.
All stations, this is the flight director on Channel 1 and
Go
UHF
Pole.
voice for the go poll for terminal count and launch. Capsule.
Go.
Booster.
Go.
Ground. Go. Safety.
What we saying, chat? Is it go, no go?
Capcom.
Go.
Engineering. Go. Copy all goes. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence the terminal count.
We'll go flight.
As you just heard, we are go for launch for our 4th human flight. We're so excited for the Roaring 20s crew. Let's take a moment and take in the sights and sounds from Launch Site 1 as the minutes tick down on the launch clock here in West Texas.
There's that crew access arm finally retracting again. Miko thinks we've got an abort. Anybody else think we've got an abort coming up?
Okay, as we tick down to launch, Eddie, can you take us through today's New Shepard flight profile?
I'd love to, Jackie. So at T-minus 2.5 minutes, we effectively hand control over to our auto sequence. The flight controllers are essentially hands off. The rocket then gets ready to light the BE-3. Ignition happens at T0, followed by bootstrap and throttle up. Liftoff occurs at T+7 seconds, and that BE-3 engine powers the New Shepard vehicle through the atmosphere. Just before 1 minute, the vehicle reaches max Q, that's maximum dynamic pressure, the point of maximum stress for the structure. At 2 minutes, that main engine shuts off. We call that MECO, and at 2.5 minutes, the New Shepard vehicles separate into 2, and the astronauts are free to float about the cabin. The PM reaches apogee at 4 minutes and starts to re-enter the atmosphere due to Earth's gravity. The fins steer back to the landing pad. The drag brakes deploy. The engine restarts for a nice, soft landing. Meanwhile, the astronauts were able to enjoy some microgravity time because the gumdrop shape of the capsule was much slower to re-enter. As that capsule pierces the atmosphere, we see drogues, we see mains, and shortly thereafter, the terminal deceleration system that causes the capsule to land on a cushion of air, that poof of dust. Touchdown, welcome back, astronauts. I'm so excited.
Thanks, Eddie. We're just about T-minus 5 minutes until liftoff. The 6 people on that live rocket are getting close to launching to space. Let's check in with them on the pad.
It looks like you've been spared a pie face moment, Hyper. Good news, guys. I'm actually going to be here still. I know I've been talking about my dramatic exit shortly, but it turns out that I don't have to dramatically exit shortly. So I will be here for you guys, commenting along in my sarcastic tones. Nice to see you in chat, the builders. Earphone user warning.
We're just under T-minus 4 minutes to launch of the Roaring 20s crew. Eddie, you've been so lucky to be down here in West Texas for many a launch. What's happening across Launch Site 1 at this point when we're so close to liftoff?
Well, Jackie, it all starts at Mission Control. They are focused with final preparations, and it's a laser focus. They are there working through their steps, making sure that their systems are ready for launch. And we're just moments away from that here. Those bit checks, like we mentioned, will start at 2.5 minutes.
And the cool thing about those final checks, I mean, our crew is on board. They're feeling, they're hearing this living rocket. Just truly such an exciting moment for them.
Absolutely, that rocket is alive on the launch pad.
Oh, we got a hold. Looks like it's on hold again, folks. We're going to keep an eye out for the crew access arm again. That'll be our indicator as to whether they're departing the capsule or not today.
Thank you for joining us. As you've noticed, we've just entered what we expect to be a very brief hold here, just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, that hold has been cleared. We're at about 3 minutes until launch. We understand the Roaring 20s, all 6 astronauts on board our 4th human flight are ready to go. Let's watch and listen as New Shepard goes through those final checks and revs up for today's flight.
And Jackie, as we mentioned, we've now entered auto sequence. So this rocket is going to automatically prep itself for launch. I can't wait to see what shows on our screen as the rocket prepares for liftoff.
We've got official rocket noises going on with the whirly sounds and wind tests and whatnot.
with just under 90 seconds to go. Those aft fins at the base are actuating, going through their bit checks. They provide control authority for the vehicle on ascent and descent. At the same time, we should be able to see the engine nozzle gimbal. It will help maneuver the rocket as its primary form of control. We've entered a brief hold in that final countdown. Our teams will assess. We'll be right back.
And we're back on hold, folks. I think they're just building the dramatics, to be fair, at this point. I just keep thinking about those so-called astronauts on board. Back off hold.
That hold has been released. We're at about T-minus 1 minute to liftoff.
What do you think, folks? Is it going? Are we going to get another hold?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to launch this rocket. Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed to our crew. We're handing it over to Mission Control.
I'm just going to full screen this for you guys. Enjoy.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff. Shepard's cleared the tower.
And liftoff. Mission Control has confirmed New Shepard has cleared the tower and is on its way to space with our 4th human flight crew.
Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed, the Roaring 20s. Enjoy this ride.
You can see on the lower left-hand side of your screen, we are gaining
Team
speed
5,000
as
feet.
New Shepard lifts off towards space.
Ten 10,000 feet.
That beautiful burn on that BE-3 engine, lifting New Shepard towards space.
As we hit T plus 55 seconds, we will enter max Q, the point
Max
where
Q.
aerodynamic stress on the vehicle is at its maximum. We just confirmed max Q, and that BE-3 engine doing some work, 8,000 horsepower equivalent of it, to produce 110,000 pounds of thrust on its way to space. We have a beautiful shot of the BE-3 engine there and its colorless exhaust. That's what happens when you mix liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. That is steam powering the rocket all the way up to the top. Here in 20 seconds, the BE-3 will throttle back, shut down, and will reach main engine cutoff. Stay tuned. There it is. Miko, way to go, BE-3. Thank you for powering our astronauts to space.
That was our main engine cutoff. Shortly here, we'll see separation of the crew capsule and the booster. At this point, our Capcom Kevin Sprague will momentarily cue the astronauts to unbuckle their harnesses and start floating around the capsule. Welcome to Zero Gravity, Gary Lai and crew of the Roaring 20s. Beautiful shot there of the two separate craft. George Neal, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and Gary Lai. Welcome to Zero G. Let's listen in as they float about the crew capsule.
Beautiful shot, to be fair, folks.
What? All right.
Oh, we got some scrambled communications from the capsule.
First step, Blue Control. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Congratulations to all 6 crew. They crossed that Kármán line. They just officially became astronauts. Absolutely outstanding. You heard that audio online from Kevin Sprague, our capsule communicator, telling our crew, I'm sure they're having an amazing time up there, but they have to start getting ready to buckle back in. Shortly here, both the crew capsule and the booster will be descending.
That's right, Jackie. So unofficial numbers, but we saw an apogee of 351,000 feet. So definitely well into the Kármán line, well into space. Congratulations, astronauts. The rocket is now reaching, this is the booster portion of New Shepard, is reaching its atmospheric pierce point. It's returning from space. Those control surfaces, those wedge fins, those actuated aft fins are now starting to have a little bit of air resistance to push against. The booster will reach its maximum re-entry velocity, which is just under Mach 4. That's 4 times the speed of sound. And it's an incredible booster shape coming back down over the West Texas desert against those Texas blue skies. This is the fun part. The wedge fins, the steering fins, the ring fin, all earning their keep at this point. Really doing some work to bring that propulsion module over the landing pad. What an incredible sight out there. Here shortly, we'll see the air brakes deploy that will cut the velocity of the booster in half. There it is. This is a critical step in slowing the vehicle down before the BE-3 engine is reignited for the final portion of the descent. We had a sonic boom. Man, was that incredible. I love hearing that sound. And the BE-3 engine relights for the final portion of the descent. Touchdown, New Shepard. Welcome back to Earth. What an incredible feat of engineering required to bring this rocket back safely, reuse it. All I can ever say, Jackie, is wow.
Wow, Eddie, truly, no matter how many times we've seen this happen, a live booster landing onto that landing pad will take your breath away. And I have to say, Eddie, the char on the side of that New Shepard booster, there's nothing like it.
Right above that feather looks like, and we see, of course, the New Shepard propulsion module beginning to dump some of the excess propellants. That's a key step for our reusable booster. We'll vent the tanks, we will inert them. That'll maintain the cleanliness throughout and allow that booster to turn around and fly again. We've got a great shot there of the capsule.
There go the drogue parachutes they've deployed on our crew capsule to slow it down. And there go those main parachutes. Those 3 mains will slowly inflate to help slow down the return of the crew capsule. While the parachutes are, of course, essential to provide a gentle touchdown for the crew capsule, New Shepard also has that innovative retro thrust system to make our touchdown even smoother for the Roaring 20's crew flying today.
Shortly of their crew capsule, they are going to see the airbags in flight under the crew module. That's just to cushion the last 14 miles per hour that the capsule should experience.
From the blackness of space to the beautiful West Texas desert, our crew is getting an experience right now.
That was a quick 10 minutes. Get ready for the ground rush.
First step, blue control. Stand by touchdown. Stand by touchdown.
Woo! Crew capsule touchdown. Welcome back, the Roaring 20's and astronaut Gary Lai.
That sounds like some happy crew members there. From the sounds of it, maybe y'all landed back safely and are doing great. We'll get confirmation from Mission Control here shortly.
What a beautiful shot of that booster and capsule in the West Texas desert for what looks like a wholly successful 4th human flight. That West Texas does kick up there for our crew, welcoming them back to Earth.
Guys, I'm gonna call
at this point in the mission, our team is preparing landing safety operations and recovery of our astronauts from the crew capsule. We'll be on the ground at the landing site to follow that action in just a bit. And hopefully, Eddie, even talk to some of the world's newest official astronauts.
A thumbs up or a subscription to the channel works just as powerfully. It tells YouTube you enjoy the content and really does make a big difference. It's free for you guys to do. So there's the stream for the official stream.
Waves from our crew members looking great back.